Welcome back to Mountain Road Ride for another review here on this channel. Today I've got a special review for you. We're going to be talking about the FLO G700 gravel wheel set. This is a new wheel set recently launched by FLO, and I think it's a pretty unique wheel set, and it definitely hits at a very important niche part of the gravel wheel market. I think as the gravel community continues to develop and evolve, we've heard that saying so many times that gravel means different things to different people, and with this particular wheel set that we're going to look at today, it definitely targets the performance-orientated gravel racer a lot more, and somebody who essentially values performance on gravel. So this is a wheel set that's first and foremost been designed to be used on gravel, but through that design process they've also optimized it for aerodynamics and then also rolling resistance. So at the end of the day, we end up with a wheel set that has some pretty unique dimensions to it, and we're going to get to those dimensions later on during my unboxing. So what we're going to cover today in this video is first and foremost that unboxing. We'll talk briefly about the installation of the tubeless tires on this wheel set, and then I want to get to the real important thing, and that is the real world performance. I'm going to show you how this wheel set performed throughout some various applications that I put it through. There's obviously only so much that I can put into this video due to time constraints, so if you do want more information about all the finer details of this wheel set, be sure to check out the blog post in the description where I go into a lot more detail. So with that, let's first head into the unboxing. Alright, so let's get over into the unboxing of this G700 FLO gravel wheel set. Now, as you can see, the box next to me on the table right now, and this is actually a particular part of the FLO company that immediately resonated with us here at Mountain Road. Now, if you follow this blog very closely, you will know that we split our content between a natural, sustainable, and non-toxic lifestyle. That topic you can find over on the Mountain Road Life channel, so be sure to check that out. And then more health and fitness, general adventure, sports, cycling, gravel here over on Mountain Road Ride. So that brings me to the box, because the box itself is actually made out of 100% recycled materials, and then also FLO has taken a stance to eliminate all plastic packaging in their shipments. So inside the box we won't find any plastic, which meant that they had to be a little bit more creative in the way the box is designed. Other than that, they also go one step further, and for each wheel set that they ship, they will also offset their carbon footprint by planting a tree. So another thumbs up from us here at Mountain Road. Right, with that, let's get this box open and see what things look like on the inside. Alright, so already a very nicely packaged box. So you can see the way they packaged this was just to put the whole wheel inside these protective cardboard containers. So that is a very neat design to the box, and I think that is very helpful in this case to ensure that the wheel stays protected during shipment. Alright, and here we go. A very nice looking FLO G700 carbon Aero wheel set. So let's check out some of the measurements. So with this one, it's claimed to have that 25 millimeter internal rim width. So I'm going to take my trusty caliper here to this and see if it indeed measures out at that 25 millimeter width. Spot on, 25 millimeters internal rim width on this one. So when we measure the external rim width, that should come in at 33 millimeters for the external outside rim width. Alright, so other than that, we've got the 24 spoke count on this particular wheel. Through axle on this side, as you can see, center lock disc brakes, and then also for the spoke pattern, you'll find a double crossover on the spoke build. So overall, very nice, solid looking wheel set. We're going to get to the weigh-in a moment, so let's get that rear wheel out and see what that looks like. Alright, so second box up on the table right now, and this one is then the rear wheel. So let's open this up, and you can already see the way they ship this. It comes in two separate boxes, one for the front wheel, one for the rear wheel, and those two boxes will be tied together during shipment to make one complete package. So let's get this rear wheel out. Alright, obviously similar packaging to the front wheel. Good, so there we have it. That's the rear wheel out of the box as well. And you will see what I found in the box. This smaller box, it actually contains some rim tape. So pretty neat. I think, you know, given the fact that these wheels come with a slightly bigger 25mm internal rim width, you do want to have the appropriate rim tape when you are converting them to the tubeless system. So that's a very neat feature in the box as well that you get with the wheel. I'm running the Shimano group set on my bike, so I asked for the Shimano free hub, and then obviously we got to test this out. Let's listen to this free hub sound. Pretty nice. Sounds great. All right, so next up we also have to just make sure that we can confirm the rim depth, because this is obviously a wheel set that has been engineered and designed specifically for aerodynamics, hence the very deep rim profile. Not something that you find common within the gravel scene. Obviously with FLO and their history in triathlon and making wheel sets specifically for the faster cycling disciplines, that technology is now coming over into the gravel space with a wheel set like this. And we got to check out to see what that rim depth looks like. They obviously claim this on their website to be 54.9 millimeters, so call it 55 millimeters for that rim depth. Let's see what this measures in at. 54.9. We got it spot on with this one as well. So there you have the dimensions of this wheel set. 25 millimeters internal rim width, 33 external, and a 54.9 millimeter rim depth. So very nice dimensions to a carbon gravel wheel set. Now all that remains is we got to weigh these wheels and then get this tubeless setup going, so we can go test it out in the real world. Alright, so kicking things off with the front wheel, the website claims this one to measure in at 869 grams. Let's get this one up on the scale, and it actually measures in a little less at 818 grams. So that's a pleasant surprise on the front wheel part. The rear wheel is claimed to measure in at 1013 grams. So if we stick with the same trend, and this one comes in slightly less as well at that 974 grams for the rear wheel. So slightly lower weights on this wheel set than originally claimed on the website. Right, so next up, let's talk about the fitment of a tubeless tire on this FLO G700 wheel set. At first, what I did was I actually fitted a set of WTB Riddler 37mm tires to this FLO wheel set. That was a tubed tire only, so I couldn't run it tubeless, but I did want to see how it performed, given that that was FLO's tire of choice when they optimized their aerodynamics. After that, I've since moved to this WTB Nano 40mm tire, and the fitment of this tire actually went very smoothly. At first, it maybe just goes on a little tight, so especially towards the end part of fitting the tire, but that with the right kind of rolling technique, you can easily get it onto the rim. Also, throughout that tubeless installation, I found this valve to be very handy. Now, this is a valve that is included in the box, I did not point that out during the unboxing, but you do get this very handy tubeless valve when you open the box, and it actually is very handy in the sense that this deeper wheel set coming in at that 54.9mm depth makes it a little hard to find the appropriate tubeless valve that you need for tubeless setup. So that is a very nice addition for sure to have found in the box. Then, as I mentioned also in that unboxing, you do find a very nice high quality rim tape that can be fitted to this wheel. Now, interesting enough, for a 33mm external width of this rim, the root tape that they included actually comes in at 30mm, so it actually fits pretty snug into that rim profile and creates a very nice tight seal when you are inflating a tubeless like this. I use a compressor pump to inflate my tire, and initially it kind of just gives you a very soft popping sound as that tire grips into the hooks, but as more air rushed in, I did eventually find that more loud, distinctive popping as the tire seated in the rim. Now, when you inflate this tire, you also don't have to guess about the correct pressures to set this tire to. FLO includes a very handy table that you can reference on their website that will show you, given your setup, your weight, and the bike's weight, what kind of pressure you need to run on different tire sizes. Now, one little thing to note with that tire pressure lookup table is that you need to use the width as measured. So don't just go on what the sidewall of your tire says. This particular tire here, the 40mm nano tire, inflated up to 43mm once on this rim. So that is then the width that I had to use in my pressure lookup. And I must say that table was pretty accurate. I found it to be really useful, and it gave me two values: 30 psi for more rough coarse gravel, and then 35 psi for hard packed gravel or pavement. And I really do think that that was pretty much spot on, and I found the ride to be extremely comfortable when I set the tires to that pressure. But that brings us to the real world performance, because that ultimately at the end of the day is what it's all about. And let's dive into that next, and I'll walk you through how this wheel set performed when out in the real world over different applications like road riding, gravel, and also climbing. So over into that next. Check out this wheel in real life.
The G700 is first and foremost a gravel wheel set, and as such you would expect it to perform really well when taken on the gravel roads. And trust me, perform it does. This is one seriously fast wheel set. During the design phase, FLO optimized this G700 wheel set for both aerodynamics and then also rolling resistance, and you can really see that optimization at work with the wider rim profile. That 25 internal millimeter width really comes to life, especially when going over rougher gravel surfaces. It provided for incredible stability and comfort, and just added a sense of confidence, especially while cornering on those looser gravel surfaces. The wider profile also allowed for lower tire pressures to be set, which just further enhanced the ride quality. I won't go into all the specifics in this particular video review, but do check out the link that I'm going to provide that takes you through to FLO's blog, and they have done some incredible research over the years, and I found one article particularly interesting when looking at this FLO G700 wheel set, and that is their research on the impedance breakpoint. Now, I think we all know that feeling when we go over gravel and our tires are set too hard and we're essentially bouncing around on the gravel surface. Now, they've got a much more educated name for that, and they call it impedance breakpoint. And essentially what that means is that through their data collection, it has allowed them to get to those tire pressures that allow you and your bike to stay in better contact with the ground, and hence you're optimizing your rolling resistance through that process. That is essentially the science that sits behind the data tables that I referred to earlier in this review. What you need to know about that is that at the end of the day, all that science just basically works together in the background to deliver a ride quality that is truly unlike anything that I've ever experienced. It just provides a fast, zippy, stable yet comfortable ride all in one. I think for me, this wheel set just ticks so many of those boxes of what I want in a high performance gravel wheel set. This obviously won't be for everybody, but if you are someone who truly values performance on gravel surfaces, then this is certainly worth the look. The area where this FLO G700 wheel set surprised me the most was actually its performance on the road. I was hoping that they would be quick, but they are indeed really fast when you use them on the road. Now there was one particular ride that truly stood out for me, and that was one afternoon when I tried to go and do some Strava KOM hunting while on board this FLO wheel set, and to my surprise, even while fitted with the 40mm gravel tires pumped to only 35 psi, I could still easily compete with some of those Strava segments. That is mind-blowing. Now, one thing to remember when riding a deeper wheel set like this, similar to what you find on a lot of road wheel sets, is that you need to get in sync with the natural rhythm of that wheel set. Ask any time trialer or triathlon specialist, and they will easily tell you that maintaining that natural cadence that matches up with the inertia of the wheel set is very important indeed. Now that surely held for this wheel set as well, and particularly so when climbing. I felt that on short, sharp accelerations, whenever I hit a climb with enough momentum, I could easily maintain that natural rhythm of the wheel set. But whenever the hill climb suddenly changed gradient, that definitely slowed me down, and once I lost that momentum, it made for a bit more hard going given the slight extra weight from this wheel set.
Alright, so there you have it. Those are my key takeaways of my experiences with this FLO G700 gravel wheel set. It really performed exceptionally well, and I must say, I think it exceeded a lot of the expectations that I had when I fitted these gravel wheels to my bike. At the end of the day, what you also have to do is ask the question, and who is this wheel set really for? As I mentioned before, this is definitely a wheel set that is focused a lot more on the performance-orientated gravel rider. It's a wheel set that can really deliver a lot of speed, and if you're somebody who then values that type of speed while riding on gravel, then this is definitely something that you can look into. I think to a large extent it meets the high demand set by gravel racers, but it's also a wheel set that can certainly be used by the everyday rider. However, I do think that whenever you're riding this at a more leisurely pace, you're not truly extracting the full potential of what this wheel set is capable of. One thing to also keep in mind is that with a deeper wheel set like this, similar to any kind of deeper wheel set that you find on the road, it might not necessarily be the most suitable wheel set for a particularly hilly course. I think throw a flat or even just a rolling moderate terrain at this wheel set, and you're really going to fly along at great speeds. I think I would love to see maybe a slightly lighter version of this wheel set sometime in the future, but as it stands, this wheel set truly offers a lot of value for money. A lot of the specifications that you find on this wheel set really compares very favorably with wheel sets almost double its price, and from that standpoint, I think it offers exceptional value for money. That's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed this look at the FLO G700 gravel wheel set. If you did like this review, please give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel. There will be plenty more gravel related content in the future. Until next time, enjoy your ride.